there are a few things in this world that I love, like a real good or bad but lovable slasher film. Like a really good one, like Scream. Or a really bad but lovable one, like Scream 2 or 3. So, thinking about it again, because I already ranked them in a video, you can check that out on the channel, and I already talked about, like, oh, the things you didn't know about Scream, the behind-the-scenes stuff. I never considered doing a fan cast for it, and part of that is because, I mean, frankly, why would you need to? Why would you need to just redo this? So many people have already just redone this, and this was just redoing other things that had come before it, and, well, I guess all cinema is just that. Let's not talk about that too existentially, or we'll be here all day. Frankly, it's unnecessary because, I mean, they're, like, soft rebooting and just calling a film Scream. Next year, it's coming out, I think. And they're just bringing back a lot of the people, but they're also bringing in younger people, and that's already what they did for Scream 4, but now they're just doing it, it's just called Scream again. I don't know what's going on with that. Interested to see it. However, Scream film without Wes Craven. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that, but we'll see, okay? He's the meme master. So, if we were just rebooting entirely, kicking out all the original cast, redoing it from scratch, with the same original roles as were in the first film, how would it look? Well, Sidney Prescott would have to be played by Mackenzie Foy. Obviously. Very clearly. I love Sidney Prescott as a character. She's so capable, and yet also kind of screamy and runs upstairs in terror all the time. Why she, she's meant to be so smart. She still runs upstairs in terror most of the time. But she really fights back against the killer. In the first one especially, she's kind of going, alright, big man, what am I doing? Picking my nose? You can't see me. I knew it. She's confident, and she's classy, she's sassy. I love her so much. Mackenzie Foy, I think she's capable of that. And you wouldn't necessarily know that from roles you've seen her in. She was in that Nutcracker film. But I really enjoyed her in, like, Black Beauty. I thought she was so good in that. And she was sassier. She was more of a rebellious teenager in that. And Sydney doesn't come off as an actually rebellious teenager, but she's got too much spunk and balls, and I like that in a woman. For her not to be slightly rebellious if you redo the character and redo the film. Mackenzie, she's got the nice girl look and so many of the nice girl roles behind her, but she's reaching an age now where I feel like she's capable of taking on a leading role where she's got that ferocity to her, and that's what you need for Sydney. It's especially important. Some other horror film heroines, you can get away with casting somebody who's not got quite as much of that talent. Tatum Riley is a little bit different. She was originally Rose McGowan. I love Rose McGowan. I love Neve Campbell. I love the entire cast. It's so good. It's all so good. The Scream cast, you just look at it down the list, you go, it's incredible. Everything they've all gone on to do, but just looking at it and them at the time, like, it was all so good. Tatum Riley was not a particular leading role. She was also spunky, ferocious, sassy. They were... Wes Craven, he did a good job here with strong female characters. In a time when, mid-90s, So, I think Sydney Sweeney would be great for this role. I just saw her in The Voyeurs on Amazon Prime. Didn't think much of it as a film, but her performance was so clearly amazing. She came off as all of... did you want her as a lead to be strong, independent, classy, sassy, sexy, alluring? Yes. And she was all of those things. Made for a messy film with that kind of character as the lead who they couldn't really decide what they wanted her to be, but somehow she managed to be all of those things. It was incredible. I loved it. I loved her. Not it. Billy Loomis. I mean, there's a lot of people you could cast. A lot of people that could do this. And I've been, what age do you cast them? I mean, none of them looked like teenagers, even a little bit in Scream. So, I'm not going to worry too much about casting actual teenagers here. I don't want to go incredibly old, but Billy Loomis is a psycho killer. Absolute madman. Prick. Just seems like a prick. Every inch of the film, he seems like a prick, right? Maybe that's just watching him back so many times, retrospectively, but I I don't think I ever liked him, you know, even watching it for the first time, which is many moons ago. Oh my god, I've watched this film a lot of times. I want to see Dacre Montgomery play the role. No, he's a little bit old. He's a little bit old for the role, but oh god, they just all look so old that if you're actually recasting them, it's hard to get the intensity, the creepiness, everything about Billy's role. It needs a little bit more experience than a 20-year-old, I think. You could manage it with someone younger, but Dacre Montgomery is so perfect for this. Oh, as the overconfident prick who gets kind of murderous for a season in Stranger Things. He just comes off so perfectly in that. And that's heading. Stranger Things it's an R rating, right? It's heading for the same sort of vibe and style of Scream. It's kind of got comedy and lightheartedness to it, but it's still rooted in the horror genre. And Billy is terrifying and crazy and creepy. Now, Stu Macker? Stu Matcher? I could not have told you his last name all these times I've watched it. It doesn't matter. Stu was originally played by Matthew Lillard. Oh, what a man. What a man. You look down Matthew Lillard's career, he's so fucking good at everything he touches. He was so good as Shaggy, he became Shaggy in all of the animated films going forward. And he was so good at this role. Oh. And it was such an interesting twist at the time. Try and think back to the first time you saw Scream. Like, oh, there's two killers. It's mind-blowing. And then they just kind of kept doing it for the rest of the franchise. But it doesn't matter. And what I love about Stu is... He's such a strange character as well. He's somebody with... similarly to Tatum, you need a lot of range because you're not quite sure modern day which way they'd want to go with the character. I mean, just outright freaky crazy. It's kind of what he is near the end, no matter what. But slightly more grounded, if creepy. Again, creepy the whole time. All of the men are. Every man in this is creep, doesn't matter. Brandon Flynn would be great as Stu. Why? He comes off as like Justin Foley in 13 Reasons Why. Not just in that. Just in. I'm funny. Not just in that, but in a lot of other roles too. He comes off as, if not creepy, then dangerous, untrustworthy in a lot of his roles as various characters. Someone that you, no matter how much you think you like them as a character, you're always kind of like, oh, is he going to be safe? Is he going to turn bad again? Is he going to start taking drugs again? Whatever. You're always worried about where that character's going. And I like that. Randy Meeks. Unlike some of these characters where I'm trying to evolve them in my head and then think about, okay, so what would that look like modern day and cast it? Randy, you just straight up Castrol Courtney. Again, getting to the point where he's too old to play a teenager realistically, but all of the original cast of Scream were, and I'm just going to let myself get away with it because again, like Dacre Montgomery, Joel Courtney's just perfect, man. Casey Becker. It's interesting. I would love to be transported into 1996. Not that in that kind of like asshole, like, oh, I was born in the wrong decade kind of way. In a kind of, I just want to experience that without having any clue for the first time. You know? I don't think I think I kind of knew or something when I went into it for the first time, so I never got that, and I would love to get that. Casey Becker, just in case somebody doesn't know what Scream is. You've got to have somebody highly capable of being the lead for this film, and then not being. Because she gets murdered in the first scene. I think Anya Taylor-Joy. Simple, elegant. She's simple and elegant. Not simple, but she's perfect, elegant, wonderful. So Neil Prescott is Sydney's dad, and again, you just need somebody kind of typical dad role. Kind of fun. A little bit of, could he be the killer in there? Got a little bit of that. I think like Kyle Chandler is great for it because he's fantastic as any dad role. He's quite funny, and there's a little bit of a, could he be? He's probably not, right? They're not him. Could he be? And then Maureen Prescott. Now, not important so much in the first film. You see her more in terms of little flashback bits and terms of the weird part in what Scream 3 where Sydney falls asleep and has a dream about her mother walking towards her going, ooh, really is a really obvious kind of ghost, weird scene. But you would have to cast her slightly younger. And this is Mimi. And it's not the usual kind of Mimi I do. But I want to cast Ashley Greene as Maureen. Now, part of that is I think she'd look fantastic for any happy, kindly looking mother flashbacks that you would want to do. I think she's around the right age for... It's hard to know when exactly you'd want to be flashing back to, but she's in her mid-30s. Do with that what you will. And also, and this is... I'm not a Twilight fan. I don't like the films. I've never read the books, but I don't like the films at all. But Mackenzie Foy played... whatever the fucking... Renesmee? Is that it? That's so stupid. The child of Bella and Edward. I'm stilted trying to talk about this stuff. And Ashley Greene was Alice. And I always thought, as we watched Mackenzie Foy grow up on screen, that she looks more and more like Alice and less like either of who were meant to be her parents in those every day. So I just kind of thought, actually, yeah, if I'm casting Mackenzie Foy's mother, I would love to cast her. I think that's kind of Mimi. Kind of accurate. Kind of works, yeah. Dewey. It's hard to cast Dewey because you need someone who can come off lovable while being that incompetent and annoying. I kind of want to cast Evan Peters. Now, partly because he's been around the horror genre so much in American Horror Story and has played such a variety of roles in it that I think he could pull off anything. The man is hella versatile. What range? Also, he was super memey and fun as Quicksilver. Not incompetent. But then, as Ralph Bohmer... there was all this expectation on him to be this, he's going to come in and be Quicksilver, and this is going to be so awesome, and then he was just kind of incompetent and weird and funny, and it was hilarious. And I just kind of want to see him play that again. I think it seemed to have a lot of fun doing that short, small role, but he just seems like somebody who'd have a lot of fun with this role, where he is kind of incompetent, but I think he'd still play it as lovable. And it would work, and he's kind of around the right age. He's about, 34? I mean, Dewey's... It's unclear. Dewey isn't meant to be a whole lot older than them, right? But then what age is Gil? How much older is she than him? Oh. Anyway, Gil Weathers, finally. Yeah. There's other people you could cast into the sequels and things, but I think Gil Weathers is the last one we're really going to worry about. And again... What age is she meant to be? It doesn't matter. Just kind of ballpark it. I'm going to cast Olivia Wilde. I love Olivia Wilde. She is an actress I love so much. I have so much respect for her that she's so great in so many things. Started moving into directing. I enjoyed some of her forays into that as well. I think she'd play this bitchy character really well. Yeah. No, I think she would. As that kind of into her 30s, pressing, very annoying, horrible reporter character, but managing to turn it around enough to be sort of lovable as the films go on, or as the first one goes on. She kind of comes back and forth across the line a lot. She's not she's a bad person, but she's not a terrible person, there's murderers, so she's not that bad in comparison. That's kind of the point of it. I think she'd been phenomenal, her and Evan Peters. It would seem silly, I think, in the same way that David Arquette and Courtney Cox seem silly. Oops. That's... Whoopsies. Anyway, oh dear. That's all for this one, folks. There are so many Halloween fan casts I would love to go ahead and do. I mean, this is something I love so much, and I love talking about it again. Can we just talk about Scream on the channel just once a year? We should just make an appointment for it around this time of year. I don't have any more videos specifically to make about it. Let's just sit here and go, Scream.